Hello,
Hello,
everyone.
everyone.
Again, thank you
Again,
for
thank you for
tuning
tuning
in
in
to Curve
to Curve
Uncensored this
Uncensored
morning. Had
this
a little
morning. Had a
technical
little technical
difficulties, so
difficulties,
hopefully
so
we'll be
hopefully
able to
we'll
go
be able to go
seamless at this
seamless at
time.
this time.
First of all,
First
Anna,
of all,
can you
Anna,
hear
can
me?
you hear me?
Yes,
I can hear you,
okay,
baby.
great.
Okay, great.
All right.
All right.
Well, let's
Well,
start
let's start
over, and I would
over, and
like
I
to
would like
welcome
to
my
welcome
guest
my guest
today, Ana
today, Ana
Lennyr.
Lennyr.
She is a
She
life
is a life
strategist who
strategist who
specializes in
specializes
helping
in helping
teens and
teens and
adults
adults
maneuver through this
maneuver through
thing
this
called
thing called
life.
life.
The thing about Anna
About
that I
Anna that
like
I like
is that she
that
has
she
actually
actually
walked to the
walked to
walk.
the wall.
She's not
She's
coming
not
to us
coming
with a
to
whole
us with
bunch
a
of
whole bunch of
textbooks.
textbooks.
She's coming
She's
to
coming
us
to
with
us with
some of her
some
own
of her
personal
own personal
experiences as a
experiences as a
mother, as a
mother, as a
professional,
professional,
and a
and a
teacher.
teacher.
So no one
So
can
no one
tell
can
your
tell your
story better
story
than you
better than you
can.
can.
So Anna, I
So
would like
Anna,
to
I would
thank
like to
you
thank
and
you and
just let's get right
let's
on
get right
into
on
it.
into it.
Tell us a little
Tell
bit
us a little
about
bit about
Miss Lennyr.
Miss Lennyr. So, thank you for Kelvin for inviting me to your show because we've been looking forward to to connect. Um, a little bit about me. Do you want to hear my sad story? Everybody is like, oh, your story. I'm like, okay, I do have a very sad story, but guess what? Most people are interested in how the heck did I overcome my sad story, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is the truth, right? So, yes, I talk on public stages about suicide, about teenagers depressed, about adults depressed, about how to overcome anxiety and depression, about how to learn and master the game of life, how
Mm-hmm.
to learn the skills necessary to never slip into pain, challenges, or never have any kind of heartbreak or betrayal in life, right? But the truth is that I've been through all of these, okay, in my own experience, okay. And yeah, I was a young child, very depressed since the age of 7, suicidal by the age of 19. Went to psychology, study psychology to try to help myself and my alcoholic mother. Ended up with no skills at the end of university, and I decided not to pursue the profession because I was as suicidal as my clients, right? And I said it's hypocritical to try to help them when I can't even help myself, all
Right.
right, at some point. So I embarked in life heads on, like a bull, like fighting nonstop. Every day was a fight with myself, with everybody around me. And after 2 divorces around the age of 38, I was diagnosed with a specific disease that I knew it killed my mom overnight. So my mom died at 55 overnight.
Mm.
We all thought it was because of the fact that she was drinking, she was an alcoholic. Ended up to be half true. It was a specific disease and gene connected to depression that killed her. So she was like on the double. And I was diagnosed with the same disease, the same gene. Except that I wasn't drinking. And I thought, when you are a child of alcoholic, you think that you won the lottery just because you're not drinking. But I didn't want anything. I was just wanting the game of suffering. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that's all I won. All right. I was the queen of suffering out there. And at the age of 38, as a single mom with an 8.5-year-old at home, I had to make a decision. I had to make a decision that everything I have tried, I did fail. And I had to not only try it again, but try it with guidance. And because I knew that the psychological society doesn't have the answers, and I knew that meds are not the answers, I found 4 mentors that helped me overcome depression in 7 months.
Mm.
7 months after 27 years of suffering. After my mom died in depression, never living one day happy in her life. Just 7 months. And today I teach that. I teach that to people because nobody deserves to suffer for decades. No child, nor adult, nobody deserves to be in pain for decades for 3 to 6 months of their life. Nobody deserves it.
Right.
Right.
So one of my
One of my
questions, I think
questions,
we're
I
having a
think we're
bad
having a bad
echo.
echo. You're good. You're good.
Okay.
Okay.
Um,
Um,
One of my
One of my
questions to
questions
you
to
was going to
you
be,
was
do
going to
you,
be,
in
do
your
you, in your
experience, have you
experience, have
seen a
you seen a
predisposition to
predisposition
certain
to certain
people
people
um,
um,
that develop depression and want to commit suicide and things of that nature.
Yes. So if somebody in your family had any kind of tendencies of having a very difficult and harsh life, it's the child coming out of that family is more prone to depression. So practically, in a way, this is exactly how we are solidifying the situation here. We have two branches in the company. We have one branch to overcome depression, anxiety and depression, as anxiety is a symptom of depression. Now, if you are depressed, that's the branch for you, right? But we have another branch to prevent all this crap. Why? Because it's preventable in children and young adults up to the age of 25. But if until the age of 25, you haven't showed your young adult or teenager that life can be easy, that they can be happy in a way or another, it's a cycle that clicks in. It's an entire cycle that clicks in around the age of 25. And what they do is they believe life is suffering. They take that cycle and they repeated it twice in their lifetime, and they live an entire life in suffering.
Now, when you talk to different healthcare providers, do you see that they treat a person with this medication, or do you think they try to treat the entire illness itself with medication and therapy?
So no medication, no therapy can fix this. That's the amazing part, Carolyn. Okay, so I know it sounds, how should I say? Let's be realistic here, right? If meds and therapy would have solved this problem in the last 20 years with how many antidepressants we had and how many therapists and psychologists were trained, including me over 20 years ago, we would not know what the word depression is.
True.
By now, right? Nevertheless, it gets worse and worse. Now you have children killing themselves every 40 seconds. It gets worse and worse. 1 million people die from suicide every single year, right? So because of that, we have to look at what does therapy provide and what does medication provide, right? And both of them provide an escape. In the therapy situation, you're going and talking about your sad story, like we started, right? Oh my God, look what happened to me. No therapist can fix your past and fix your sad story. No, nobody can fix that, okay? You feel better for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 3 years, okay? But you're good after that? No, you still have the same pain. Medication is even worse because that implies there is something wrong with your brain. And guess what? There is something wrong with your emotional wounding, with your heart being stabbed over and over again in depression. That is, yes, it imprints on your brain at some point, but probably, how should I explain? It all starts with being heartbroken, to feel awful, to feel torn into pieces, right? So it all starts emotionally. You're trying to fix a brain when the brain is the symptom, is not the cause.
Right. So someone that actually is going through something like this, what are some of the different techniques that you've experienced that helps?
So we address the exact cause. Honey, you are suffering. You are in pain. There is a sad story, okay? I'm sorry, I cannot listen to all the sad stories in the world because if you notice, there's some specific patterns about the sad stories, right? So are you ready to heal that pain from your heart? Do you want to do it? And some people don't want to do it. And you will think that, wait, what do you mean they don't want to do it? They are so identifying with pain and suffering that they don't know who they are if they're not pain and suffering.
I can understand that.
So some people are not ready for it, and that's okay. And I keep telling them, like, I'm sorry to tell you, but one of my mentors says, if you're not ready, you need to suffer some more. So sorry, okay? There's nothing I can do. But here is, you have to make the decision. Why do you have to make the decision? Very simple. Because you are, how should I explain? you are responsible for the way you feel, right?
Correct.
It's your pain now. Once you feel that as your own pain, you are responsible for it. And what I provide will be only the techniques and the skills for you to do it yourself. Now, why do I want you to do it yourself? So you won't need me to babysit you for the rest of your life when you have another challenge in life. You know exactly how to do it. You won't need me if you're feeling a little bit depressed after 2-3 years. You don't go back to depression. You know exactly how to do it.
Right.
So you show people this is how you fish for your pain. You take it out and you throw it in the garbage. Okay? This is how you do it. Because if you encounter it again, you don't need me for therapying you for 12 years. Maybe
you know how to deal with
it. Another advice or stuff like that. But you know, but you need to know the basics of how to do it. And what we don't know, especially people that were suicidal like me, we did not know that this pain is fixable. It's removable. It can be retrieved and healed. We thought we have to kill ourselves to not feel that pain.
So basically, you have to become stronger.
You have to become stronger. You have to take responsibility that you don't want to feel this way again. That you're sick and tired of being sick and tired. That you're ready to take action. And you will be surprised. Depression can only be overcome by action. That's why I said, meds is not going to do it. Therapy is not going to do it. Sitting there in isolation, looking at the sky is not going to do it. Meditating is not going to do it. Okay? Thinking positive is not going to do it. You need action. You need actual steps to just follow. That's the only way to move out of that situation.
Right. Well, typically I would be a lot more interactive in what I'm saying and how I'm interviewing, but I am hearing a lot of feedback, and this is a very informative interview, and I really want my listeners to benefit from what you have to say. But I am getting notices that we are echoing. Well, I'm echoing for some reason. Not you. So in your information, that's why I'm not speaking very much. But I agree. I know a lot of people suffer from depression and various things based on traumatic things that have happened to them in life. And for some people, they find it more difficult to get over it. Do you think that has to do with the personality of that person?
So the first thing that we're teaching people is the skills to insulate them from depression. And this is what we also teach parents who have difficult teenagers, because this is what prevents depression. And in those skills to insulate from depression, which means you're learning it and you can never have depression again in any stage of your life because you learn the skills. The first thing we're teaching is relationship skills. There are 4 types of men in the world and 4 types of women in the world. Yes, there are types of men and women more prone to depression than others. Children more prone to depression than others. People who it's easy to take action, like I was. I'm like, just get me the hell out of it. If I have to eat dog poop, I'm going to do it. And people who still need to think about it. Okay, which means we need to suffer for a couple more months until they realize that okay, I tried everything and doesn't work, I'm ready. Can we go slow? I'm like, no, we need to go action. We don't go slow, keep going. Right. So yes, from those 4 types of men and women and 4 types of children, right, females and males or children, there are some of them who are more prone to depression and harder to move away from it. And then there are the ones who get the skills immediately, they take it, they run with it, they're out of depression in like 9 weeks. So yes, there are different types of people in the world, and this is why we're teaching them these relationship skills, because this helps them to build family relationships. Family, and not only family relationships with everybody, because If you realize that out of the 4 types, you are one type, maybe 2, and the other 2 types or 3, they think different than you. They have different values. They have different way of thinking, of acting, of feeling. Then you're not going to blame them when you're being hurt. Because you know that they are just different than you, and this is how they are. And they cannot be like you, because we all expect people to be like us, to think like us, to have our own values, right? And so we have a lot of women that come to us and said, why did he leave me? Why did he abandon me? Why did he's the one type of man you should never marry out of 4. Maybe you should have known that before, you had a kid with him. With all due respect, there is one type of man who cares about business, freedom, vision. Okay, that's not the type to marry. He's always on the go, right? But I didn't know that. I'm like, why didn't you take a relationship course before you get married? It's cheaper than to pay for the divorce.
Yeah. Do you think it's because people don't identify that they have a problem sometimes?
No, I think people do not strategize their life. And this is why, I'm a life strategist. They take it like, oh, it's just going to happen. His love is going to happen. Everything is going to happen. No, you strategize your job, your work, your career. You go to school, you're learning this course. You know how much you're going to get paid. You know how much you have to do extra work. What other skills you need to learn to make a living. You need to strategize your life too. Not let others play you like the wind, like a tree. Now left, then right, then what are you there? You're just a peon on their game of life. You cannot play your own game. So this is where strategy, including in relationships, in emotional wounding, in depression, in challenges in life, comes in. Strategize your life. Know what's the right thing, not what your cookadoo parents or cookadoo relatives think that's right. What it's right. Period.
Right. For someone like you that has so many stumbling blocks as when you were younger, when did it just kind of kick in? Like, hey, I need to make a change. I need to do something to make me a better person for myself.
So, because depression runs in generations a lot of times. Yes, it can happen after you've been heartbroken and you lost your husband or your wife or things like that. That can happen too. But a lot of times comes from generations. For me, it was from generations, right? Because my mom was an alcoholic. So I was the 2nd generation, right? Depression never skips any generation. So it's going to keep on going. It's going to keep on going until either one person fixes it or until the last member of a family dies from suicide or something. All right? So it keeps on going in the family until somebody is resolving it. Because my mom was an alcoholic, I knew my son would also be an alcoholic. And I live in America where there are also drugs. It's not only alcohol.
Exactly.
Why? Addiction skips a generation. Addiction will always jump one generation. For example, I will never be an alcoholic because I saw the effects of alcoholism, right? But my son never saw them. So it's easy for him to just, he's like a sponge, okay? The first drink he's going to get, oh, this is good. Let's keep on going, right? Because the alcoholism is in his blood. Very simple. Right? So because of that, I knew my son was going to be an alcoholic. Because I was suicidal, I knew he's also going to be a suicidal. Because if a parent is suicidal, so is the child. All of this is statistics that I have learned over 20 years ago at the university. Right? So these kind of things that I said, I need to stop it now before I have bigger issues with my son that my mom ever had with me.
I understand. That makes sense. So did you find that it was a success with your son by taking that approach?
Caroline, you have to repeat yourself because you were buzzing.
Yeah, I hear it. It's buzzing really bad now.
It's okay. Just repeat yourself.
I was asking, did you see that it was successful with your son, the approach that you decided to take?
So the idea is the following. We are teaching the parents how to do this. Why we're teaching the parents how to do this? The child will never trust you if they don't see the example in front of it, right? So if I show your child my example, okay, it's going to follow me, of course, sooner or later. They don't want to live in pain and they don't want to be hurt and things like that. But at some point, it's going to say, oh, I know how to do this now. So I got it. It's easy. I learned the game of life. My parent is an idiot. Then we have a problem, right? The idea here is to reunite the parent with the child, not to separate them more. That's not the idea, right? So this is why we're teaching the parents how to do this. Here, this is what you do. If you hurt yourself, just admit it. This is what you do to get out of it. And then show your child how to do it. The children, my youngest customer was 6 years old now. He just turned 7. We got him out of depression in 3 months. We got a 6-year-old child out of depression in 3 months. The mother is still working on it. For the last 6 months, she's still working on it. Okay?
Wow.
This is how slow she is compared to the child who just, boom, got it. But why I was able to do this is because the father never slipped in depression. He's that one type of man who slips in depression, right? Otherwise, I would have had to wait for mommy to go through that process before I touch the child in a way, right? I teach the child what to do, right? So there are circumstances when I can bypass it. I was like, just let's get the kid out of depression because dad is fine. It's like, okay. And I told mom, until you're finishing your healing process, let the kid get closer to his dad because his dad can never. And it was perfect because now they're both of them looking at mom like, are you done with that healing process? And now out faster, right?
Because they're helping her because of their progress.
Exactly, because she is stubborn. She never knew anything but suffering. And now she's, she's so deep in a program where, she has one more step to go and she's doubting herself. Oh my God, but what if I will reverse to unhappiness? What I will reverse there? I'm like, you can't because your child is out. Your husband always been out. So now just follow them. Keep going.
Do you think it works better for people when they do have a support system?
I did not have any support system, and it worked great for me. And I will tell you why. If you have noticed people who are depressed, the teenagers, adults, they isolate. Did you notice that they isolate themselves? A lot of them don't even know they're depressed, how they're thinking, things like that. That's actually when healing happens, in isolation. But if you don't have the right guidance, there is a problem. You know what I mean? So here is, isolation is great. A couple of times I told the son and the husband, listen, why don't you guys take off for 3 days? And he's not alone with her healing process, right? Just take off for 3 days. You're good. Don't worry about it, okay? I have her under control anyway, right? So to let her heal, not to feel a rush, not to feel imposed, not anything like that. And a tremendous amount of times it's better to be isolated. Now, if you're isolated but you don't have the right guidance, you don't succeed to do anything. You're just sitting in depression for 27 years of your life. Because I didn't have the right mentor to pull me out, right? So it depends. Sometimes we even have to take a break between the parent and the child if they're too angry at each other. It's like, why don't you separate for a week? Okay, go on vacation, one of you. Okay, a little bit separate until we stabilize the energy. Because you're not actually angry at your parent or at your child. You're angry at something totally else. You're just lashing at each other. Right. Too much pain, right? So until we figure it out, it's like, okay, you're actually not angry at each other. Hello, guys. Why don't we take separate vacations for a while, right? So it depends, but isolation is a very good healing process if it is guided.
Because is it true? Is it true that sometimes people within your circle could be attributing to your depression?
If you don't know how to see their pain, yes. So this is why we do these first things we do is these skills to insulate people from depression. Because in these skills, you see people's pain. Okay? When somebody is angry, you see if they are angry because they are fire or because they're angry and they are earth. Very big difference why they're angry. Right? So, because we're working with the 4 elements because it's easier for people to understand. I made it so simple. It's like my child gets it in 5 minutes. Any child gets it in 5 minutes, right? This is how simple I made it for children, adults to just get the message of where they need to be in their cycle of life, right? More simple you're making life, more you're giving the answers before the challenges occur, more better they know how to expect challenges and how to deal with them immediately because they have the skills to it.
Right. They're prepared, basically.
So when people said, oh, there are toxic people around, they're contributing to my depression, I'm like, yeah, because you don't see their pain. You don't, you're relating to it. You're like sucking up all the negative energy and you're afraid of them and you're running away from them. But you don't see their pain. And I said, okay, what is this person life at home? Oh, they suffer from this, from rejection. The other one suffers from abandonment. The other one suffers from humiliation. The other one suffers from betrayal. Do you see it? And they're like, yes, I see it. Good. Then don't get attached to that pain. Do you also see it in yourself now? Just a little bit? Oh, yeah. Okay, we got to heal it.
Gotcha.
So all the toxic people, you attract who you are. If you're in pain, you're going to attract people around you who are in pain.
I agree.
Exactly. So here is not to attach to their pain. What the heck you're doing? What are you here? It's like a magnet for all the pain in the world. You're going to just die from it. Goodness gracious, right? See it. Keep it at the distance. See where it triggers you. Okay, what it affects you the most? Well, I feel very attached. Oh my God, I'm so sorry about this person who's got abandoned by her husband. Why do you feel sorry about him? Oh, because I got abandoned years ago. Oh, so we didn't heal the wound of betrayal for you. And abandonment. Let's go back and heal it. Okay, let's talk about it. Right? Because for years, you've been in that particular pain. And now you're trying to help her and take that pain away. And that's not good because everybody needs to heal only their pain. You're not responsible for other people. You're responsible for your own pain. You're responsible for your own happiness.
Right. And that's the key.
Yes. So it's not only responsibility for money, for what you're doing in the world. It's responsibility for how you feel. And if you don't know how to heal from deep feelings like rejection, abandonment, humiliation, betrayal, injustice, it's okay because we teach you how to do it. Just don't ignore it and become depressed and suicidal because you don't know how. It's okay. That's why we are here to guide you in the world. And there are people like me who do this, right? But don't stay in suffering. More you stay in suffering, more you're dying every day from within. And more you fail every day. And then when it comes time to make the decision to get out of suffering, you say, I cannot.
You have to learn how to make lemonade out of lemons.
Yes. And to how should I say, to take responsibility for yourself first before you take responsibility for anybody in the world.
Right.
So just let's just take an example, Karen, right? You know what? I overcame depression and I'm an anti-depression expert and I do this for adults and teenagers. Would you listen to me if I would be with depressed Anna?
No.
Okay.
Not at all.
So I understand that with depressed, whoever wants to help everybody, right? But you don't know how to help them.
Right.
Okay. You don't know how to take this. So here is get yourself out Okay. And trust me, Carolyn, you only told my story, and I told my story just so people will understand where I come from, because I'm not coming from a rich family that was always happy, and now I tell people how to become happy or whatever, right?
Right.
So I only tell my story so they know where I come from, but nobody cares about my story. Everybody cares about how the heck do you get me out.
Right. I can believe that. I can believe that.
Right. So these are the things that we're teaching, that it is possible.
Mhm.
So, podcasters like you and people like you who raise awareness about this, you don't realize that you are probably saving a life every minute.
Absolutely. And that's why I'm so happy with you being on the show, because I know even if me as an individual, if I'm not suffering from those things, I know someone listening knows someone who is. And that's important.
That's
If you just save one person,
yes, if you just save one person,
you've
that's
done your
enough.
job. Now answer this for me, because of the echo crazy, but if someone wanted to get in touch with you, do you do Zoom therapy, or how would they do that?
So we made the process very simple. We helped about 850 people only last year out of depression. Okay. And as you have noticed, I'm not a regular therapist. Okay.
But I like your style.
Exactly. I'm a no BS girl. Okay.
Exactly.
So if you are looking for BS and 12 years of therapy, sorry. Okay. Get moving. Don't waste another 12 years of your life. Right.
Right.
So what we have done to make it faster, better, and more efficient. Okay. One of my mentors is Hugh Hilton, the owner of Hilton Hotels. He makes $800 million a year, and he teaches this strategy. How do you make it faster, better, more efficient? And this is how we did it. We did it with online courses.
Okay.
We did it with online courses. And 2 of those courses are for free on my website.
Okay.
So either analennyr.com, which nobody knows how to write anyway, but a better website will be betteraskana with one n.com. Betteraskana with one n.com, where we have 1-hour course with about 10 videos, small ones, about the secret map to overcome depression. And then we have another course, about an hour, each the same, about ending young adult depression. Okay, they're both on betteraskana with one n.com. We also have workshops on Zoom about once a month. We have it for how do you find healthy relationships? Okay, with healthy relationship formula. And the second one, how do you parent difficult teenagers? How do you take the right steps to parent difficult teenagers? Because everybody's complaining about their difficult teenager. And guess what? The teenager is in pain, and the parent doesn't understand why. So we teach the parent why the child is in pain and how to fix it. All of these are for free. Okay. So these are free resources on my website, betteraskana with one n.com, because we want to give people choices, not excuses.
Exactly. Well, do this for me, Anna. Just kind of give me a really quick summation of what you would like to leave my audience with, and I'm going to actually post your website on my page.
So we all master the game of suffering, sometimes for generation. It's time to master the game of life and learn the right strategies, not only to overcome depression, but to prevent it forever. And it is possible. And people tell me all the time, oh no, I cannot do it. Yes, you can. If one person did it before you, so can you. If no one did it before you, you can be the first. And yes, you can.
Well, I definitely I've had a lot of guests on the show, but I really feel like the information you provided would help so many people, because like I said, if you as an individual are not dealing with some of these issues, I know you know someone that is, and it's definitely valuable information to pass along. And I thank you for coming and being a part of the show today. And I don't want you to to go anywhere once I disconnect this stream because I want to speak with you. And I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Thank you.
Love you guys. Thank you.